battery-operated magic toupee, the podcast. Journey to dimensions of existence even more moronic and idiotic than ours. Alternative universes of such stupidity that we've constructed the battery-operated magic toupee. Warning! The following comedy is intended for mature audiences and for those not easily offended. If you're of a delicate disposition and offend easily, for example, if we refer to you as a silly cunt, we recommend stop listening immediately, cancel us now, and fuck off. The battery-operated magic toupee, the podcast!
I was only 24 hours from Tulsa, only one day away from your arms. I saw a welcoming light and stopped to rest for the night.
Welcome, Tulsa and beyond. My name is Tippy Cauldron, and you're listening to the 24 Hours from Tulsa podcast, the only podcast dedicated exclusively to that classic hit song, 24 Hours from Tulsa, by the immortal Gene Pitney. And this is episode 427. Thank you to all you 24-hour from Tulsa fans for supporting this podcast. Today I have someone special with me in my studio, in the basement here, David Sodawater of the 24 Hours from Tulsa fan club, the Tulsa chapter. And David has discovered some new revelations about our favorite song. David.
Thank you, Tippy. And it's a special day today. 60 years ago today, 24 Hours from Tulsa hit number 37 in the Schmalondian music charts. The Schmalondians loved it.
So tell us about these new revelations you discovered in 24 Hours from Tulsa.
Well, Tippy, since I was a youngin' of 7, I've always been asking one question. Why is Gene Pitney so desperate to get back to Tulsa? So I took the word Tulsa and spelled it backwards and came up with the answer.
I see, and what is that answer?
Well, Tippy, Tulsa spelled backwards is a slut.
So, Gene Pitney was rushing back to Tulsa
to see a slut, yeah.
Are there any clues as to who this mysterious Tulsian slut might be?
Well, after extensive personal research by myself in the Tulsa area, I came up with one name, Sharon Leibowitz.
Sharon Leibowitz.
What a slut. What Sharon did during my investigations were the most depraved sexual practices I'd ever experienced in my life. When Gene sings, I saw that welcoming light but stopped to stay for the night, he's referring to Sharon's habit of putting dog poop in brown paper bags and putting them on neighbors' front doors and setting them on fire.
David, looking at the lyrics, something happened to me while I was driving home, and I'm not the same anymore. What was that something?
Well, Tippy, Sharon is actually a man dressed as a woman, what we in the Tulsa area refer to as a transvestite. So after Gene's love affair with Sharon, he was never the same again.
So that's something that happened to Gene Pitney that made him not the same anymore.
Well, due to an injunction by the Pitney estate, I'm not legally able to mention what that particular act of sodomy was with Sharon Leibowitz, but he was never the same again. I should also point out that Sharon's caravan is only a 4-hour car drive from the downtown Tulsa area, not close to 24. This could only mean one thing. Gene Pitney was driving back to Tulsa on a small, compact foot scooter. Battery-operated magic toupee. Upload tasteless sketch. Get canceled. Initiate. I'm here to ask for money for my special condition.
I was born a certain way, different from most other men. It's difficult dragging this burden with me from day to day. You see, I possess an enormous, you could say, oversized penis. It's just massive. For example, I have to do special breathing exercises in the morning just to make sure it's not stiff. Even if it's semi-hard, I won't be able to stuff my semi-soft sausage in my specifically designed underpants, which have been custom tailored to fit my gargantuan wang. It takes me a full minute to sit on a chair, as I must be careful to adjust my pants in order not to sit on my one-eyed weasel. It's difficult going through life with my condition. Sometimes, when I'm walking, if I haven't sealed my specifically designed underpants correctly, the tip of my skin flute will slip down my trousers and drag along the pavement and make sparks as I walk. It can cause blistering of my helmet head. I'm here asking for money, but more than that. Yes, give me money, I appreciate it, but I'm here talking to you about my problems because, well, to tell the truth, I'm not a very interesting person. I wasn't very good in school. I'm downright invisible in meetings. I work in a nothing menial job, no future. My personality is so vanilla I can't get a girlfriend. I'm a terribly unremarkable person, but with one impressive feature: my enormous putts. I may be a zero person, but my tube steak is way beefier than yours or anyone else. Whoever you are, however low your ding-dong dangles, my leaky hose languishes longer. Me, Mr. Nobody, my dog dangles downward deeper than any of you stuck-up stooges. People ask me, how long is your love muscle? Well, I can't fully tell you. It's difficult to measure. When fully relaxed, I can just about measure it at 6 foot, or 173 centimeters. But we can't measure the size when fully erect. I can't balance the tape measure on the end of my giggle stick. How long is it? Well, my plentiful pork sword is bigger than yours, much, much bigger than yours. It would be embarrassing to compare your dinky to my bald-headed yogurt slinger. And that's why I'm delivering this message today. Money and awareness. I need money. It's very expensive having a vast schlong. Each pair of specifically constructed underpants have to be handmade with a discreet Hong Kong tailor. The research and development budget on my lap rocket is enormous. We're developing a special brace to wrap my enormous salami shaft around my body instead of stuffing my pipeline in my trousers. Yes, it does look like I'm morbidly obese when I put my clothing around my wrapped-around custard launcher, but at least I'm able to walk normally, and I don't risk stepping on my dingus. Although when my fuck pole is wrapped around my stomach and chest, I need to be cautious with my napkin and not spill soup on my old chap. I also have trouble getting work with my condition. Yes, when I was young, I could get odd jobs. I would unfoil my pink cigar, lay it across the doorway of a shop, and yell ding every time a person would enter the shop so the storekeeper knew someone entered. And it's terribly unfair. I have the biggest baloney pony in the world, and I don't even get the recognition I deserve for it. I contacted the Guinness Book of World Records people 50 times, and they refuse to include my enormous fleshy maypole in their books. They say all their entries need to be verified, and none of their staff will come bear witness to my wing-wang. So won't you give money to help? Psychotherapy is expensive, and as you can imagine, a man with my baloney burden needs help. I wasn't born this way. It happened through misguided wish fulfillment. I was 6 years old. I had a teeny-tiny 6-year-old weenie. It was terribly, terribly small. I went one day to the public swimming pool. In the men's locker room, I looked in the shower, and there were grown-up men there. I saw their trouser monkeys, and I felt terribly embarrassed by my little pecker. And I made a wish. I said, I wish when I grow up, I have a big, big can't you? I want a tallywhacker bigger and more massive than any of these men's truncheons. As a matter of fact, I want to have the biggest, most massive pee-pee in the world. The vastest meat puppet of any living person on the face of the earth at any time. And as I made that wish, I looked to the side of me, and I beheld the oddest sight. It was a goblin leprechaunish man, dressed in a green pointed hat with a kind of greenish tinge to his skin. And I said that wish out loud next to this magical creature. But in the end, I don't think this little dwarf was responsible for my mile-long ding-dong. He was just a midget perv having a wank watching naked men in the showers.
Wait a minute! Hold it right there! Stop! This is the end of the sampler! If you want to listen to the rest of this thrilling episode of the battery-operated magic toupee, click on the link below, or listen to it on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And listen to this.
As we gain a higher understanding of stupidity, we gain a deeper understanding of ourselves. Hence we bid farewell to the battery-operated magic toupee, pooting and spooing and farting thick brown smoke as it dimly staggers from reality to reality on its moronic mission.
You have been listening to the Battery-Operated Magic Toupee, the podcast. It was performed and was written and produced by Elliot Stein. Copyright 2024, Gargoyle Entertainment. Thank you for listening! That was a sample of an episode of the Battery-Operated Magic Toupee, the podcast. Please click on subscribe and like and all the other cool and generous buttons that are on whatever site you just listened to this on. That helps us a lot, and we really appreciate it. What you just heard was a sample, a taster. And if you like the taste, come listen to the whole podcast on Spotify, Apple, and other cool podcast platforms. And if you really liked it, really liked it, come be a member, a paid subscriber on the Battery-Operated Magic Toupee, the podcast Patreon page for the complete uncut episodes and lots of other cool shit. Each episode takes 2 solid weeks to create and lots of resources to produce. It costs money, and we rely on the generosity of our members to keep the comedy going. And you can visit our webpage at BOMT.UK or battery-operated magic toupee.UK. And don't forget to tune in to the next thrilling episode of the Battery-Operated Magic Toupee, the podcast.
Toodles!